Hey everyone, welcome to the Holly Hall Show. I'm so excited today. We're going to be talking about part two of the predictions for 2026. And I already have a great question in the chat room. So you guys head over to the chat room, ask me any questions, specifically ones like this. She asked, are we going through energy where humanity is learning to accept each other? So we're going through that now. She's saying, do you see going through the same energy in 20-ish years where we have to learn to accept other beings here too? It's going to be a lot less than 20 years. So let's get this started. Okay, we're going to talk about what Elon Musk tweeted. It has to do with astronomy, but I'm linking it to astrology because you know that's what I do. I'm going to also talk about three-eye atlas. I promised to talk about that before, and what Jupiter has to do with three-eye atlas, and what does Jupiter have to do in your chart? The coolest thing is that astrology is thousands and thousands of years old, okay? And that's the original is Babylonian or Sumerian astrology, which is what I am developing and learning to do, and I work this way with my clients. I've done Western astrology for 30 years. I turned into sidereal astrology, and sidereal astrology, I'm adding a layer of it, which is called Babylonian astrology. And Jupiter has always been a benefactor in the chart. You want to know where Jupiter is because that's where you're going to enhance your soul's mission here. For instance, mine's in the ninth house. So the ninth house has to do with your philosophy, your belief systems. And for sure, I've expanded my philosophy and my belief systems exponentially. In fact, to the point where this is how I work with my clients according to my belief systems and wanting to expand theirs as well. We're also going to be taking a look at how June and July, you want to focus on June and July of 2026. And we're going to talk about the second wave of children that are here, the second wave of volunteers that are here. And that was sort of attributed by Dolores Cannon, but I've always seen it. And we're going to look at what is the weaponization of religion and how that's going to be the highlight of 2026. Okay, let's get this part, Holly, Holly. Let's get this party started. I pulled a card at Three Eye Atlas a while ago and got communication and co-creation. I love this. I literally got a download this morning just before I came on air here. And I don't know what to make of this. I'd like you guys to tell me what you're making of this. But and sometimes I'm like, dudes, I can't tell people that. They're going to think I'm cray cray. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to share it. So the download is that planet Earth was supposed to be a vacation place. It was supposed to be the hot spot to go in the universe. And somehow others out there decided they're going to take up housing here. They're just going to live here and they're going to take over. And isn't it crazy how we have seen that all around the world? In 2022, we went to Mexico. Was it 2021? We went to Mexico for 6 months and we're going back. We went back again last year and we're going back again this next month. But one of the problems that's happening all around the world, especially since COVID, is that people, expats, are taking over countries as residents. And we experience it here in Canada, but people aren't vacationing here and taking over. They are moving here permanently on purpose from other countries because this is a place of freedom, right? And they're doing it in the United States as well. But in Mexico, the Mexicans, the natives, they're not happy. They're not happy with us because we have taken over so much so that it has risen the cost of living for them and their housing. Now they like it because they do like the tourism. I mean, it makes them more money, gets them more jobs. But with that, is it really balanced when you need more money to live in your own country? So you got to make more money. And it just seems like an oxymoron at the end of the day. So think about, and this is kind of going into, do you see us going through the same energy in in 20-ish years where we have to co-create or get along with beings that are not from our existence. So just imagine this, that this was a playground, this was a vacation spot, and a whole bunch of immigrants from the United States, not from the United States, from the universe landed here and decided to stick around. And that's us. That's us. And we took over. But then other beings said, you know what? We're going to be born. We're going to just plunk our souls into your human form, and we're going to fight this. This ain't going to happen. You want to take over. That's fine. You want to live there. That's fine. But you're not going to corrupt it. You're not going to destroy it. You're not going to completely control it. So it's inhabitable for the rest of the universe. So let's talk about answering that question, and we'll talk about 3I Atlas and what I think that is, the download that I received. It's not what I think, because I'm not a scientist. I'm not an astrophysicist. I can't even pretend to know whether it's a comet or not a comet. And I definitely follow people that are experts that are talking about that it is a comet, and also talking that it is not a comet. So yes, we will have to accept other beings here, but they will not show themselves until they feel safe. And right now, they do not feel safe. And they are not going to feel safe until, and it's not just that, they are conscious, loving beings, most of them. I've heard there are a couple that are not so. And of course, those are the ones that probably originally landed here and wanted to take over. But they're conscious, loving beings. And if you watched Age of Disclosure, which I did, go on Amazon Prime and take a look at it. But if you keep up with all of that disclosure that's been happening for the last few years, very heavy in the last 2 years, there's literally a 64-page a bill on Trump's desk for Congress to pass so that the disclosure can, there are military and professionals out there that are in the CIA and the FBI, and they have to keep their lips closed or die, literally, or just completely have your lives ruined. And they want to lift that ban. They want everyone to be able to disclose it. And until that can safely be done and no one can be harmed, the what do they call it, non-human entities are also not going to disclose themselves because they don't want to harm us. They don't want to harm those people. So there is proof, and you can take a look at it, and I detailed it in my part 1 as well. So hightail it over to my YouTube channel and take a look at part 1. So I say it's going to be this year. They, that is the non-human entities, will disclose themselves. It will be them. Will everybody recognize it? Nope. No. You know why? Because we're radical. We're radicalists. And we're disbelieving. We have our, that whole thing where the ears are closed, eyes are closed, mouth is, that's us. In general, that's us. And the reason is because you can't handle the truth. That's what it comes down to. People can't handle it. COVID was meant to break us down. So we became almost subhuman. I'm just going to go about my life. Life is already hard enough. I can't deal with all this other stuff that's hurting and harming other people. And it's not just that. It's, human trafficking, the list goes on, drug trafficking, and how it's. I just watched a podcast, an expert. Who was it on? I think it was Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan show, and this gentleman, I can't remember his name, but it's one of the latest ones. So hightail it over there and check it out. And he wrote several books about how the CIA, FBI, and the government did all these secret projects. And one of them was a psychedelic, like truth serum drug. a whole project on that in the 70s, and one of them was even in the 40s and the 50s. One of them was with cigarettes, that they would literally put sort of, I don't know, ganja in cigarettes, but not tell the person, and go, "Here, have a cigarette." And they would monitor how they reacted to it, like an innocent bystander, just a civilian, they would do this to. And then there was some that was the milder ones. There was much more serious ones. So anyways, my point is there's all kinds of stuff going on in the world, and we don't wanna see it. I do. I want my eyes wide open, and that's just like my book here. I wrote that in 2020, actually 2019, because Source said I had to have it out for 2020, and it's called 101 Answers from the Universe, and the subtitle was Eyes Wide Open, and I did not come up with those 2. That's what I was told it was supposed to be, and little did I think that it's too much in alignment with, the answers what is it? Answers from God, or Neil Walsh, I forget what something from God, right? But it's kind of laid out the same way. So, but our planet has become a place of cosmic POWs too. People, what does POWs mean? I don't know I don't understand the acronym, but we're gonna look at 2026 and how this is going to be the blister that's gonna just pop open and fester in a good way. It's a part of the healing process. Guys, don't freak out, because if you're freaking out, you're a part of the problem. You're not a part of the solution. If you wanna continue to, you know, drink your margaritas on the beach and look at your mainstream news and go to the bars and party and continue to do what you do, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. It, in fact, is a very necessary part of the equation. Hi, Randy. And the reason is you have to have the opposition. So, guys, stop arguing with the opposition. You have to have the opposition. Otherwise, your position doesn't exist. Because if your position existed without an opposition, there would be no need to solve anything. There would be no need for change. There would be no understanding of the concept of an opposite or a change or something different. So this year will be disclosure by them, and some people won't see it because most people are going to argue about religion when that happens. People will question, what is God? What is Jesus? What is the higher self? What is the Bible? Is the Bible true? It makes me question about the Bible. So this must be all lies. It must be all BS. The government is pulling the wool over our eyes, and it's wrong. And then other people will be going, are you crazy? It's like they're in black and white. What I propose to challenge you with is, why not accept both? Why can't we have different types of religions that share the truth, share knowledge? Why can't we see the whole elephant in the room? You know, I took Psychology 101 in University of York outside of Toronto, and one of the analogies there was the giant, well, first you would see, because it was a test, right? It was an exercise. And they were giving us images of different parts of an elephant, but you didn't know that. You didn't know what the big picture was. So you're just looking at this thing going, is it a rope? You can be looking at the tail, but you can't tell. Is that a rope? Right? Is that I don't know, I think one of them was, it looked like a piece of pastry, but it was the ear because it was all like crinkly, right? And it looked like, is that a flat piece of pastry? But when you pulled back, it was all the different parts of the elephant. And the whole lesson was perspective, what is your perception? What is your perspective? What is your point of view? And we have to have a more enhanced point of view. And if you don't have it, at least be open to exploring that there might be another point of view. Being caught up on wars on other planets, those that weren't sent here as prisoners or because their planet was destroyed. Well, that's an interesting take. Uh, I've never really seen the experts talk about. I definitely have heard people say this is a prison because a lot of people are not having a good time here. They're not. They're like, "What am I doing here? Why am I here?" And you're going to understand what that is in 2026 as well. One of the first unveilings of this will be in mid-February, and I talked about all the dates in part 1. So I don't want to reiterate what I've said in part 1 because you've come here to hear something new, right? So let's talk about the prediction around Jupiter and how you want to know where Jupiter is in your chart. Like I said, mine's in the 9th house. You have to know the time of your birth. If you don't know the time of your birth, you can at least take a look at what parts of your chart is Jupiter affecting. Is it conjunct or square, opposite your sun or your Mercury or your Mars or your Venus? And all of that makes a difference. And there are some astrologers that will say, oh yeah, an opposition is definitely going to be a challenge. There will be a challenge, but there'll be like a giant pot of gold at the end of it. I am very fortunate because I have a very difficult Moon Saturn placement in the 7th house of relationships. And trust me, all relationships, my entire life has been a major source of pain and learning unconditional love from it. Yeah, and it wasn't them that taught it to me, not in a positive way. It was me having to develop unconditional love in order to not take it personally. And Jupiter, it benefits that part of my chart. And so it allowed me to find that way. And so I went down all kinds of rabbit holes with all different types of religions and belief systems. I just want to double check. Yeah, Jupiter's in my 9th house. And then now mine is opposition of my Mars. And my Mars is also my king planet in a 3rd house. Once I start writing, speaking, learning, teaching, which is all 3rd house stuff, short traveling, which is all 3rd house, that's when I would benefit from all my learnings throughout my whole life. And that's exactly what's happened to me for the last 3 years. It also happens to be exact Mars with Spica. And Spica it's awesome. It's an awesome one. It's a fixed planet, and it indicates if you have an exact conjunction with a fixed planet, and not everyone does. I happen to have one, like Regulus is another one, Antica is another one. Then this is what I'm just adding to my repertoire of doing readings for people. Then you want to know what it is because it's a fixed pattern in your entire life. And once you know what that is, you can go with the flow. It makes life a lot easier. It doesn't make it go away. I'm sorry, some things aren't going to go away, but when you can work with it. So for instance, if you get in an accident and you amputate your leg, you can wish till the cows come home, and you probably will go through that during your mourning period, that this sucks and I want my legs back, but it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. So the only way you're going to be able to live with yourself is to accept it and work with it. I know that's an extreme example, but even in Buddhism, they'll use extreme examples. If you lose your child to a drunk driver, the attachment to that is what's going to bring you down. The attachment to your anger, the attachment to your loss, the attachment to your pain, the attachment to retribution. So desire and attachment are our greatest enemies. And yet everyone that comes to me says, I want this, I want that. I desire this, I desire that. I want more money, I want more fame. I want a partner. I need a soulmate. I want a better relationship with my child. It's all desire, 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 desire. I would say about 20% of my clients, and as they work with me, they become 30, 40, 50% of their life. They want to know who they are, and they want to spiritually advance. because it says it's not your only life. I hate to tell you, you had thousands, and you don't have to come back here every single time. If you get sucked into the vortex, into the matrix, you will come back. Like one of my friends, Nicola Farmer, she'll be on the telepathy tapes. She says, when you pass, don't go straight. Go left or right. Don't go straight, because that's a portal. That's the light, go to the light. Don't go to the light, because apparently that's your rebirth. And I've heard that in types of religions too, that you immediately become reborn again if you go to the light. So I'll see what happens when my time comes. So, and it is more, it's interesting. It's sort of like a school here. We're remembering. If you watch the telepathy tapes, and I am so adamant about everybody watching it, is you'll recognize all of the skill sets that we have lost. And one of them is the art of telepathy, art of remote viewing, the ability to see with your eyes closed, to see with your heart, to see with your throat chakra. All your chakras are portals, and the throat chakra is the portal that will be opened in 2026. The throat chakra has to do with clear communication and clear understanding. When I was writing the book 101 Answers from the Universe, and I just recently got a validation that this could be a reality. Again, I'm going to get a bit cray-cray here. And if any of you have questions about yourself, just plug in your astrological chart there, or if you can go to astro.com and have your own chart, you could put that in there, or give me your birth date. And if you have your birth time, that would be advantageous as well. Okay, and then we're going to go on to Elon's tweet. So the portal of the Taurus, which that's Taurus, of the throat chakra will be opened. Jupiter is in your third house. I hope in sidereal astrology it is. It most likely is. So Jupiter in your third house means that you will advance on a spiritual level if you learn, like just be that eternal student who just wants to sponge up a little bit about everything. You don't have to know a lot of everything. It wants you to know a little bit of everything. And also to communicate that and to share that knowledge to those who want to learn. Do not share knowledge unsolicitedly. Jupiter absorbs. Now, this is how it coincides with reality, with science. So NASA will tell you this. Jupiter absorbs 80% of the comets that are headed for Earth. Jupiter saves us. It is our benefactor. I thought that was super cool. And what Elon tweeted was the sun is 98% total mass in the solar system. All stars, planets combined is only 0.14% of the universe. And Jupiter is most of that. All of the planets combined in our solar system is only 0.14% of the mass. And the rest is stars and space, mostly space. And yet, Jupiter is most of that. So one of the biggest planets, the sun, is obviously the largest star in our star system. The other thing is Sirius A and Sirius B. And I'm doing some research on that. You can join my Substack and you're going to see some of my research that I'm doing. I'm going to do written research and audio video research. I'm also on Spotify, Apple. You're going to get most of my stuff on YouTube and my shorts on TikTok. So Sirius A and Sirius B is in a, I'm probably going to have to draw this out. Let me, there we go. Okay. So Sirius A is a star, just like our sun. And Sirius B is a planet that rotates around Sirius A. Our solar system kind of locks in, kind of overlaps at one area of our sun. And then we have all the little planets, right? So right here, I don't know if you get, yeah, right here is where it locks in. Okay, so this is a Sirius A solar system, and this is a sun. Now, hang in with me because this is going to make sense to you. So there's this rotation. Actually, the sun is, the planets are here. So what's happening is it rotates and B rotates. And in 2026, for the next several decades, it's right close to coming into our orbit. And they call this, because it only happens once every approximately 26,000 years, is the golden age. It's the dawning of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, and the dawning of the golden age. It is out with the old and in with the new. Everything that no longer serves our future selves will no longer exist. And some of these in the next several decades, hundreds of years, this is going to take. Okay. We're going to see the dawning of it in our lifetime, but we're not going to reap the benefits of the growth of those seeds that we are planting. But we will, as a soul, in another lifetime. Because you're probably coming back, or you're going to go somewhere else and you're going to come vacation here like it should be. Now, I know I'm getting a little woo-woo, but that part there is science. And of course, NASA and scientists aren't going to equate that to any kind of pseudo-archaeological findings. And they have found hieroglyphics that warn us that when this planet and that planet is doing this in that constellation, something's going to happen. Okay, and I'm going to be doing some writings about that too. I have literally been up till 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock every single morning in the last week because I'm just like research. And I haven't put everything together yet. But one of them is coming out today on substack.com. So go take a look at that. And it's also in alignment with the second coming. I'm born and raised Roman Catholic, but I don't know if there's a second coming or if I buy into it or not, but there is an epiphany. There is a knowing that we are not alone, and there is a much bigger picture out there. Why do you think things like telepathy tapes surpassed Joe Rogan and became number one on Apple? Why are the Nicola Farmers and all of these podcasters bringing everything to light? Everything is nasty as Epstein files, as much as the human trafficking, drug. Why is there, either whether you look at it as positive or negative, leaders out there that are stirring the pot and making everybody angry and fight against each other? Because this is it. This is the boiling point. This is the boiling point. This is the tipping point, as I put it in my part 1. The next, I wanted to talk about, the second wave of children with Dolores Cannon. They were born since 2020. So if you've got a child that is fighting, that's angry, that's stubborn, that pushes back, that doesn't want to go to school, doesn't want to get a job, that's angry and frustrated, that's got ADD, all these neurodivergent labels, which is most of you guys are just normal. We're the ones that are like, actually, I'm probably neurodivergent. I think everyone is neurodivergent because there's no such thing as a problem with that. But yeah, we don't see without our eyes, and for most of us, so we need these labels. They are here to be the stubborn ones, to be the angry ones, the protesters, the frustrated ones, the educated ones, the highly intellectual ones that are going to be a game changer in the future because they're not going to put up with anything. They're not going to buy in to this indoctrination from the matrix and the higher ups and those in control. They're not. And they're not here to do that. So if you have a child that's like that, please encourage them to use their gifts and their understanding. Don't force them to go into a school system that does not apply to them. If you can homeschool them, homeschool them. The problem is they do need to be social too. So I wish everybody would group homeschool. It's so simple. It's so easy. But 2026 and 2027, thanks to AI, is going to change our production on Earth. Okay, you're not here to serve the factory or your boss at the, I don't know, the investment firm or the lawyer's firm. You're not here to serve in that way. You're here to serve humanity, to serve other people. And the reason that you have a child like that is because they have gifted themselves to Earth to be a part of the change. So the simple solution that I have with the education system, if I had a magic wand and I could change the education system like overnight, I'd have brilliant teachers like my daughter. She's a brilliant teacher and she works with neurodivergent children. There's definitely got to be people. It would be a cooperative system, which means it's just like homeschooling, except there's like 10 of you that are parents and caregivers and teachers and educators that homeschool 100 kids in one location, and you take your turn. You take turns. And until the monetary system shifts, which is happening, and I put that in part 1 as well, then there would be a contribution. So for instance, the average private school is approximately $2,000 a month. Your taxes, if you're in Canada, you're paying approximately $2,000 a month off of taxes, believe it or not, with your property taxes, taxes coming off of your paycheck to pay for the educational system. So imagine you have 100 students, and let's say there's, 60 parents, and 60 parents are contributing $1,000. $1,000. 60,000. That's a 60,000. Yeah, 60. Is that 60,000 or is that 600,000? Oh my gosh, Holly, I'm not doing the math right now. I usually can. That's a lot of money a month. That's all I'm saying. Okay, you can distribute that amongst the 10 teachers that are working there, plus the upkeep of the building and all of the material and everything that you would need, and all the field trips and everything else. It's a lot of money. It can be done. It's so freaking easy. If you're a teacher, you can do this. I have a client that's here. I actually volunteered quite a bit in this school. And she's not even a teacher. And she opened up her own. It's one of the most reasonable homeschooling that you can have here. And she found a really reasonable place to have that school as well. It's not homeschooling, it's a private school. I think she charges $10,000 a year. Peanuts. And these are wealthy people that have, because the kids don't fit in the system, and these are wealthy people that need to work 12 hours a day. And she's not even a teacher. She just wanted to have that system. She hires teachers. They are bringing true change. My grandchildren are so different than how children were back in the day, right? Don't try to shape them and mold them the way that we have been shaped and molded. Don't do it. They're daydreamers. They can't focus. They got ideas. And if you look at all of the brilliant, wealthy people in the world that have made it in technology, mostly, they did not do well in school. A lot of them even quit school because it was constricting them, their mind, and their mission. What I encourage you to do is even get a mini reading at askhollyhall.com and learn who you are and what your mission statement is. Your North Node, which is Rahu, is your mission statement. Mine's in Gemini and in the 11th house. So I am here to communicate, to share knowledge to the public, and to help people be seen and heard. Oh, there is a bunch of things that are going to be happening. Those are just some of the things that are going to be happening in 2026. I want to see, I've made so many notes. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go crazy. So we're at the beginning of the Great Divide, right? And the next episode that I'm going to be putting on Substack and recording it and probably putting part of it on YouTube is going to be called The Prophecy Ignites. And it's about being shown two earths, one that stays in controlled environment and the other one is freedom and free will. And the line is drawn between the end of 2026 and the beginning of 2027, but it has already begun. And this is not a prediction. It's a memory of the future I was shown years ago in September of 2021. And when I was writing the book, 101 Answers from the Universe, I've also got The Only Way to Manifest and a children that are empathic. I'm just almost finished a children's book for that so that they can understand what their gift is and how to use it. I was shown a world that we telepathically communicate each other. So for instance, if you were to come up to me and say, "How are you doing?" I wouldn't just say fine. I would literally tell you how I was doing. I was going through some lessons yesterday and I'm challenged by learning this one particular gift that I'm trying to, because there's no attachment to desire on this planet. So I'm not going to sit there going, "Oh, my mother hurt me and it was so bad when I was 8 years old." We don't do that. But as I'm communicating to you, either telepathically or verbally, because I don't have a choice, you have a clear understanding of what I'm talking about. Like a clear. You're not going to make up your own story in your head. It's a clear understanding. And there's no attachment to love. There's no attachment to needing relationships. You can go from one relationship to another relationship. There is no need to hold anybody back. There's no need for you to own your children or your children to own you. There's a massive collective collaboration of everything and anything. Sounds like utopia, right? There's just no attachment to desire. Everything we want in this lifetime to bring us happiness is all attachment to desire. Imagine if that was completely the slate wiped clean. There wouldn't even be cheating or betrayal because it would just be, you want to move on and go explore the land, go explore other tribes and other people. That's just the way it would be. That is the vision that I was shown. And then shortly after that, I had a really distinct dream around it too that kind of led into COVID. So everyone, I'm going to sign off right now. Thank you so much for chiming in and listening. This will go live right away. I don't see a need to edit any of it. My first one I had to edit, so it just went on live like literally 20 minutes ago. So you'll see part 1, and this is part 2. Thanks for joining. I will be back tomorrow, probably 8 o'clock Eastern time, and I'll be doing another live, part 3. But I want to talk about December. I'm not going to talk too much about 2026. I'm going to talk about what's going on in December, how we're going to wrap up this year. And I want to get your birthday stuff as well. as well. Oh, thanks for joining, Zince and Olivia. They came in. They're in my manifesting group. If you guys get a reading, you're going to get an email from me on how you can join my manifesting group. Or if you go onto my Substack, which is hollyhall.substack.com, you'll see my link to my manifesting group there. And I want you to join us because we're manifesting. It's amazing. See you soon. Bye-bye.